Welcome to Tell of the Dragons. This episode's unique. This episode's about Mr. Tony Breese, who passed away a few years ago. Mr. Breese was my Taekwondo instructor, my time at Breese Family Taekwondo. And, you're going to hear great stories about Mr. Breese throughout this episode of the podcast. But one thing I wanted to share was what Mr. Breese taught me. Okay, so just a little backstory. I was 1993. I was a young man, 19 years old, testing for my black belt. Now, to really give you a peek into the window behind the curtain of what that looked like at the time, 19 years old, obviously young, didn't know anything, still don't. But I was extremely cocky. I was extremely arrogant. I can look back on that now and identify that. But for my black belt testing, it was a Saturday, and I brought my then girlfriend. Some of my best friends were there, and I wanted them to see how good I was, right? The cockiness part of it. But during my testing, my testing was amazing. I was fast. I was strong. My technique was crisp. My sparring was fantastic. My board breaks that I did, there was no doubt that I was going to smash this test, and I felt that I did. And we didn't get results right away. It usually was on our third class of the week, which would have been a Wednesday, that they'd had everything posted on the board. So I came in with my girlfriend and walk over to the board, and you go down, you select down, see your name, Williams, okay. And there was no rank promotion, and I'm looking at it, and I didn't pass. And I was embarrassed. I was humiliated. My girlfriend was there, and I was just basically shattered at that point that I didn't pass my black belt test. I smashed it. I did amazing. I was furious. I was extremely upset. At that point, I didn't really know what to do. I should probably leave. But somehow I took my bag into the dressing room and changed, put on my gi. Nobody said anything to me. And then I go out and I'm stretching and whatnot. And Mr. Breese comes out before class, and he goes through his warm-up as he usually does. And he doesn't say anything to me. It's awkward. There's other students there as well, but it was just, maybe it was me making it awkward. But I felt embarrassed to be there. All these people. I was the one that failed. Everyone else had came in and they were getting their rank promotions, and not me. And I was embarrassed. And as he started class, I'll never forget this. He talked about humility. He talked about being humble. He talked about martial artists, specifically black belts. It's not just your physical ability, it's your mental ability to be a black belt to other people. And I knew he was talking to me. We were the only two people in the room at that time. And it really changed my life. I think there's probably some people out there that have had some humble pie, and what that does to you. Now, I've been served numerous pieces of humble pie over the years, so it's definitely something that I've struggled with. But that being said, Mr. Breese taught me some amazing lessons. Humility, number one, and I think I've stuck with that. And Mr. Breese family, this This episode is dedicated to you, your legacy, the Breese family Taekwondo legacy. I'm extremely, and I will forever be in debt to you for some of the things that were done to mold me into the man that I am, which translates into pouring into other people with lessons that I've learned at Breese and since then. But it's with great honor that we're able to present this episode of Tell the Dragons for Mr. Breese.
Super rewarding. Got home to see this package in the mail from the Warriors Legacy Hall of Fame. It's fantastic when you nominate someone that was in your life inspirational to martial arts and beyond martial arts, just a human being. Oh. Wow. So we are here with Anthony Breese. His father was inducted into the Warriors Legacy Hall of Fame, and I have the honor to present him with his dad's plaque. Well, how are you, sir?
I'm good. Yourself?
I'm doing very well. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming on. Ponchi Don Matthews. He's numerous Hall of Fames and whatnot, but he got to the point where he was kind of fed up with these Hall of Fames reaching out. Hey, we'd love to have you as a member. It's going to cost you this much. You can come to this seminar. It's going to cost you this much. And he's like, the Hall of Fame shouldn't be about money. So he started Warriors Legacy Hall of Fame last year in 2025. And since he's done that, it's really exploded, and it's no cost to any members. It's all based on merit, time in martial arts, going through a nomination process. And in 2025, shortly after it began, I nominated Mr. Breese, and he was accepted into the Warriors Legacy Hall of Fame. And I presented Anthony with a plaque of the Hall of Fame, a tribute to Mr. Breese. I wanted to get people on that not only knew him but loved him, and I know that you had a fantastic relationship with Mr. Breese over the years. You want to share any stories about Mr. Breese?
Stories, him for his board breaking, the heights that he got on breaking boards was tremendous.
A smooth technique.
Yes. I also remember that he tailored his teaching to the individual from 5-year-olds on up to, well, at the end, my age was a few decades later, since I was with Mr. Breese for 35 years.
Amazing. I wanted to do an episode for
Right.
for Mr. Breese. He's not a guy that can tell the story now, unfortunately.
I got a Mr. Breese Sr.'s phone number that I could probably give you later. Yeah, I figured you would like that information very much. So I actually walked into my father's house the other day, and he was on the phone with Tony Sr., and I was quite floored also because, I wasn't expecting that either. So, to find that information, I thought I was pretty excited, and I knew you would like to get that also. So I'll have that here shortly for you. And I'll give, after we're done here. So,
perfect. Well, do you want to talk
my
about your
martial arts journey?
I mean,
I got a kind of a funny story. My martial arts journey was I actually wanted to take fencing, like sword fighting and fencing, and I was looking for a school to do that, and there was no schools in Des Moines. And I'd really spent like a week bothering my parents about this, And out of the blue, a friend of mine named Dusty Grimm called me and said, hey, I started Taekwondo. It's down here at Plaza Lanes. It is super fun. It's, it's like, and I'm like, what is that? And he's like, well, it's like karate, And I kind of knew what that was, from the movies. But this was in like early 1984. This was before the Karate Kid and all that stuff. I was like so I started hounding my dad about that, and that's how my martial art journey started. And the first night I went, we was late for class. I was 11. My little brother was 9. We was having a bad. It was not well. We was like 10 minutes late. It was, but man, I just ate it up. I never stopped going, and my friends never went back. That's how that worked out. So it's just crazy. Yeah, I went for almost my whole life.
Also remember the demos that he had, especially in schools, middle schools. They were always different. Each one was not the same canned routine. Some of the elements were the same, like board breaking forms and sparring. He had different people, and he would highlight their abilities. I remember he had me lead a demo for a break at the Wild Game in Wells Fargo Arena out on the ice. That was amazing. He normally did all the demos himself. I didn't realize till later he was preparing me for the requirements for belt advance.
Weird how that happens, right?
Yeah, the demos was like at Altoona for their festival out on the road, and it was extremely hot. I fell out on feet. And he also sponsored people that people weren't aware of that for one reason or another couldn't afford to support the school. And actually some of those later turned around and provided support for Mrs. Breese.
When I started, it was like I said, it was at Plaza Lanes, with the old Plaza Lanes bowling alley, and it was in the basement. They had like a fitness center there. And the gentleman actually teaching the school didn't have no name. It was just a class that like Plaza Lane must have offered or something, because they didn't have a sign or nothing. The chief instructor was a gentleman named Richard Colson from Iowa State. He was like a 4th degree, and Tony Breese was a 2nd degree and just finished high school. And Tom and April and Kristen and all of them people were still in high school and doing homework before class and stuff. When I started, I think if I remember right, the dues was $10 a month, and to buy a uniform, just a plain white dobok, was $15. And it was.
When did it move? When did it move to its 2nd Avenue location? Was that there first?
No.
Yeah, I remember a Breeze story where I was an orange belt, and if you recall, I recall very well, we started around the same time. I remember your wife and your kids working out. I think you may have been a couple of belts ahead of me at the time, but we went to Pleasant Hill for the Pleasant Hill Summerfest, and I was an orange belt, and he tells me I'm going to do a board break with a round kick. And I'd never done a board break, especially with a roundhouse. And he tells the crowd, if he doesn't pull his toes back the correct way, he's going to shatter his toes. I'm just like, oh my goodness, I'm going to break my toes.
Yes, he was very good at knowing when people were ready for break and to push them to what they could do that they didn't think they could. I started teaching class when he gave me basically an ultimatum. I delayed it for a couple of years, actually, because I didn't age and things. I didn't feel the technique was to be showcased, and he did. And teaching for the first time is very intimidating. So what I really enjoyed was watching people break boards for the first time, especially look on the children's faces when they break successfully. Yes.
Can't believe I did that. Yes.
Yes, and he would always sign the broken board for the kids and give them the boards. And in fact, I remember one of the demos, I can't remember who the person was. He was having them do a headbutt, and actually they cut their head, and that's the first time I did a headbutt.
I went with Mr. Breese. I mean, I'm pretty sure it was just because they was all kids too, and I was a kid, they were just bigger kids. I looked up to them, you know what I mean? So I absolutely went with them. And from there, I think it went to like Southwest 9th and Peyton originally. Bobby has had his school there once also. So, but Breeze was there once or twice also. So yeah, I done a lot of working out in that room. Mm-hmm.
My goodness.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
That's pretty crazy. They had schools at Wilson Elementary on University that I taught at off and on when I was real young. When I was 14. My first class I started teaching when I was 14. I started teaching children's class on Saturdays, and that was at the Southwest 9th and Peyton School. So I taught at an Altoona school. I taught in an Ankeny school. They had schools in quite a few different places that I hopped around to try and teach class at. So,
and we discuss what he would expect from the students and what to watch for. And after testing, we would discuss going down from low rank to high rank, what their performance was, their attitude in class, that kind of stuff. And there was usually, I want to say, 5 judges, if I remember correctly. And if it's unanimous, why we go on. And we discuss what's there and mitigating factors, whether they showed up in class or, showed up the day before testing and ready to go. His bookkeeping on that was fantastic. I think he kept the records from ever testing. And each judge would have a score sheet, if you will. We'd rank the student's performance and what's there and what we'd notice, and discuss what, as instructors, we need to work on with that student.
Did it bother people that I was his favorite student?
Yeah.
I know. I just really looked up to them. They were great people to be around, great people to look up to. They were great mentors for me. And I think that was something I really needed in my life as probably a hyperactive kid before that was even recognizable, So I absolutely ate that all up, and I fell into that hook, line, and sinker. Several times as I was growing up, they had, classes in the middle of the day sometimes. So I would get to go to class twice a day.
Share my story of Mr. Breese, just what he taught me when I didn't know I needed to be taught something outside of martial arts, and how it shaped my life, my current life, the humility aspect of it. What has he taught you in your life?
It taught me. It gave me more self-confidence, directions, guidance on how to teach, basically.
Yeah.
And like when I started the stretching and that kind of stuff, at that age, it's about the age you are now, or close to it, I'd lost a lot of flexibility that I didn't even realize. Since it closed, I've greatly missed the discipline and the workout.
Yeah.
Because it is different being retired.
Before I got my black belt, mischievous stuff that kids do in class. I remember one time Mr. Breese was trying to lift a heavy bag up, trying to move it because we was all going to do some kind of new exercises or something. He said he needed a hand, and I started clapping and got the whole class push-ups.
I can close my eyes and see Mr. Breese's warm-up, from his leg pendulum just swinging up, stretching the way he stretched and extending the slow side kick up and holding it. He was an amazing martial artist.
Yeah, the stretching is the other thing I remember. Past 180 degrees on his stretching legs, it's painful to think about.
Anything you wanna look into the camera and say to Breese?
I have always thanked them, and I am proud of what they taught and what they do and what they did for people. I have always stood behind the Breezes, and I always will. And I encourage what they taught. Be honorable. Exercise, stick up for your friends, family, and your country. So that was kind of the basics when I started, and I'll always stand by that. It is good to see you, brother.
You as well, my man. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Is there anything that you want to say to the Breese family, Taekwondo family?
I have enjoyed our journey very much and very appreciative of what you've offered me.
Mr. Carver, thank you so much, sir. It's been an absolute pleasure catching up with you and seeing you.
Yes, I see you once in a while at work.
Thank you so much for coming on, sir.
No problem.
Anything that you'd like to say on behalf of your dad?
He's a man of integrity and a man that taught me so many lessons that I could go on and on about. And not only did I see not only for me, but I saw him what he did to my sister, what he did to my mom, and just the community and everybody around him.
Yeah.
And the fact that he had that impact on everybody's lives and passing that torch on and passing that, all those lessons that you learned. It's something influential and it's spiritual. It's something you'll never forget. And one of the biggest lessons that I learned, one of the tendencies of Taekwondo, his favorite, is indomitable spirit, which means unstoppable spirit.
Yeah.
And that's something that no matter what happens in my life, that's something that I'll always take with me until the day I die. And just like him, maybe I can pass that on to somebody else.
Good. Mr. Breese, it's a great honor to present you with your dad's plaque and his piece of his legacy that'll live forever in the Warriors Legacy Hall of Fame. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.